NATO's second army, the second economy of the Muslim world, Russia's main historical rival, and a key country on the road between Europe and Asia. This year, the Republic of Turkey is exactly 100 years old. It will emerge from the wreckage of the Great Ottoman Empire, but it was a century ago that it abandoned its imperial past. But today, everything is changing. Turkey again unites the nations and states around itself. President Erdogan publicly demands global reform of the UN, wants to remake the world, and is trying to be everywhere he can to prove himself. How do they manage to sell their importance to the world as best they can? Look at this map, which at first glance may seem strange. Turkey, Uzbekistan, Azerbaijan, Tatarstan, Western China, and even Yakutia. About 150–170 million people live in these lands, united by a common Turkic ancestry. These peoples have common roots, similar languages, and in most cases the same faith, Islam. Why is Turkey mentioned here? Because for the past few years, it is Turkey, gently but actively proposing to the Turkic peoples to unite. But the world map has never been and will never be stable. A vivid example of what happened 30 years ago. The USSR officially ended on December 26, 1991, after the leaders of Russia, Ukraine and Belarus signed an agreement in Belovezhskaya Pushcha on December 8. But some southern republics, like Azerbaijan or Uzbekistan, declared their independence earlier. Who was the first to recognize these countries? Turkey organized the first summit of Turkic-speaking countries the very next year after the collapse of the USSR. In 2009, it was already a whole organization of the Turkic states. It even has its own flag. The summits are held every year, and the leaders of 8 countries now attend. Just look at the road Turkey has traveled. All through the second half of the 20th century, the country sought to join Europe. Why? Because it's profitable. Lots of technology, rich buys, and job opportunities there. For the not-so-rich Turks, this is especially important. In 1987, Turkey applied to join the European Union. Only 12 years later, in 1999, it finally receives official candidate status. However, in 2023, Turkey is still not in the European Union. Logically, a few years ago, Turkish President Erdogan said that if the European Union thinks Turkey will beg to join, they are mistaken. Well, the logic is clear here too. We now have our own organization of friendly peoples, which we will develop and lead there ourselves. But why is Turkey still not accepted into the European Union? Look how many people live there. Today there are 85 million people there, more than in any other country, even Germany. But what is more important is not the numbers, but where things are moving, or have been moving. In almost 25 years, the population has grown by 20 million. And what is happening in other European countries? Roughly speaking, there will be more Turks in that time than all the other Europeans put together. It is one thing to take in an Eastern European country with declining demographics, similar faiths and cultures, and quite another to take in a booming nation of Muslims with leadership ambitions and exceptional entrepreneurial spirit. Example 1961. Germany signed a treaty with Turkey to invite local guest workers. The treaty clearly spelled out the quotas only 300,000 for 4 years, no more. Germany urgently needed a cheap labor force to support its booming industry after the war. 12 years later, it is true that almost 3 million Turkish workers came to Germany, but it was still controllable. And now imagine, what layouts evade the European Union? If it includes, say, the second Germany by population and the largest army, and how to control the tens of millions of Turks who will be on an equal footing with all other Europe citizens and compete for jobs.